So leaked Disney Plus
what's
financial
happening now?
data reveals troubling statistics on revenues per subscriber. So it's not like a huge, oh my God, wow, but it's interesting. And it goes to show that like the streaming model, especially with the sums of money that they're putting into it, just is not sustainable by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, like I'm surprised they're still going with it, to be honest. Like it's quite alarming. So this was the breach of data for Disney has been shared by loads of mainstream media. So it's pretty legit at this point in time, pretty, corroborated. So the Walt Disney Company has spent tremendous resources on building up the Disney Plus streaming platform into what they, think is the sort of the thing. And has, in the process, they've destroyed secondary and third revenue streams. So Blu-rays, DVDs, physical media. They've started to bring that back a little bit now. But by and large, it was kind of stopped. Also, selling a movie to another streamer, they stopped doing that because they just sold it to themselves, basically. It was just shown on Disney Plus, so they cannibalized their own secondary revenue streams. But what it is, so according to Reuters, the leaks of Disney Plus financial information are legitimate, even if the means to acquire them is definitely not so. And it says here, the leaked files included granular details on revenue generated by products such as Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, park pricing, offers, and what appears to be login credentials for some of Disney's cloud infrastructure. So while some of the acquired data is provided in a ho-hum way by various news outlets, a further investigation into what is really being provided shows that Bob Iger's Disney Plus strategy may be a real albatross for the company. So according to the documents, Disney Plus generated more than $2.4 billion in revenue in the quarter, which ended in March, or 43% of the revenue generated by the company's direct-to-consumer business, which includes Hulu and ESPN Plus. And that's cited there from the New York Post. So first, it's not clear that ESPN Plus is actually included in the number. Disney has separated ESPN into different category in recent earnings reports, so we don't actually know whether that is the case or not. If Disney Plus is generating 43% of all revenues for Disney streaming platforms, that might actually make the situation even worse. So it's not great, basically. So it says here, to explain why the numbers are so bad, let's have a look at how many actual subscribers are there, because you can, just do a dividing basically to see actually how much a per subscriber is paying. So Statista have stated that there's about 153.8 million accounts on Disney Plus. So for an entire quarter, 153.8 million accounts generated $2.4 billion in revenues. So that's $15.63 in revenue on average per person. So obviously you just divide the total number of revenue per number of accounts. However, a quarter is 3 months. So basically they're earning $5 a month per person, which is real bad. But that doesn't make sense because Disney Plus, the average or the lowest one, is $7.99. And then it goes up. And accounts paying $7.99 have to watch advertisements. So the advertisements generate revenue. But if the average person is paying about $5 and the lowest account is actually $8, and there's also adverts on top of that, the revenue being generated, I mean, where's the money? Like, where is it? Do you see? Do you follow? Do you see how this doesn't make any sense at all? So real bad. So on average, $5 a month per person per account. The lowest is $8, and that's with adverts. And that would still be counted in this revenue source. And also 2.4 billion isn't actually profit, that's just revenue. And so when they're paying, say, $180 million for the Crapperlight, where's the actual profit? Where's it going? Like, what is it? So it says here, it indicates globally that Disney is taking in a minuscule number in order to drag the revenue total down. to such a degree. The alternative is that perhaps Disney's generating far less money than even a lower subscription plan costs, because many of the accounts are perhaps tied into promotions and third-party sharing. Because there was a lot of promotion when this came out, like, oh, even Lloyd's TSB in the UK, Lloyd's Bank was like, sign up with us and you get a Disney Plus subscription or some crap like that. So there you go. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's a little bit more here. You know, revenues isn't profits. So we actually don't know how much they're making in profit, but it's not looking good.
Well,
because if you actually have a figure now and then you start to divide it down, I mean, that's really, really, really bad.
Well, they're not really making money now. Disney Plus separated from ESPN, separated from other stuff. I mean, you could certainly break it down that way. But interestingly enough, I mean, the revenues, because of their massive subscriber base, may be also dually misleading, because some of that massive subscriber base, or a decent chunk of it, comes from India. And India, you can get a year's worth of Disney Plus for 499 RS, which is, for an entire year, $5.94 in India.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Well, their average revenue per user is less than 70 cents in India.
Wow. Why are they even in India then?
To
Why
get that, because of the subscriber numbers.
Yeah, but it's not.
I'm just telling
anything.
Yeah, right now the Indian rupee, is like 0.012 cents in American dollars.
Jesus.
So if you collect 499 of those for a year's subscription for Disney Plus Hotstar, then that's the current price listed on Hotstar. You are looking at $5.94.
Wow.
It's funny, isn't it? I always... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, it's just unsustainable. Like, you just cannot keep doing it.
Yeah. Because on the face of it, at first blush, you think 150 million plus. Anything that's doing 150 million plus of anything is absolutely gigantic, and you'd be over the moon. But then you think about it, and all those numbers you've spit out, and all the rationales you've sort of listed there, and all the sorts of things, it actually doesn't quite make sense, and it isn't very good at all, actually. And I was thinking about the demographic, or like who's very, very brand loyal to Disney anymore, right? When I was a little kid, the generation older than me, they'll talk about Disney like Disney from the 50s or whatever, even earlier, like the Fantasia era stuff, right? Disney had an incredible reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Royce Gracie won the first UFC, they said, he's Brazilian, what are you going to do? What are you going to do now with the $1 million you just won, or whatever it was? And he says, I'm going to go to Disneyland. It was like, you got to go to America and live the dream, and you got to go to Disneyland. It was almost like a cliche. I'm going to go to America. I'm going to have a Big Mac and buy some blue jeans, some Yankee blue jeans, and I'm going to go visit Disneyland. I'll be living the dream. No one thinks like that anymore, right? The only people that, right, if you've got little kids, right, if you've got little kids that you don't mind shoving weird wokeness down their throat, okay, that's one demographic. I saw a clip on Twitter the other day, and it was this family going around Disneyland, and they're wearing like the Mickey Mouse ears and like the whole 9 yards, and they'd bought into absolutely everything at Disneyland. And they looked like the humans out of WALL-E. Do you remember that film WALL-E?
Yeah.
And like the humans in it are all like absurdly obese.
And they were in the scooters, right?
Yeah, like the hover scooter things. Yeah, this family
scooter.
were like the most dysgenic sort of freaks you can imagine. like almost certainly like got learning difficulties, like at a glance, those type of people. they're Disney diehards, like idiots, like mindless, blind idiots, and very, very small children that don't know any better. That's it, right? Any normal adult. What normal adult is buying Disney Plus? Right? Am I wrong?
No, I agree. I don't think there's many. Like, they don't have. Yeah, they're sort of. They declared war on essentially the majority of their actual customer base, like families. There's a very small percentage of families that are like, yeah, that's fine. indoctrinate my child. Don't you worry about it. Yeah, please. Yeah, better still, we'll go to Disneyland and, you know, maybe our child will get groomed there because there's a bunch of pedos working for you. Like, yeah, like, no, obviously not. Like, there's very few people that's going to be on board with that crap, of course. And the people that are on board with it are, as you say, just freaks, essentially. Well, they are.
Yeah. Yeah, like a single mum who wants to get back at the estranged husband so much that she wants to trans her 8-year-old son. Yeah, she'll take him to Disneyland then. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Go to the
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
Yeah, go to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique where there's a drag star selling you crap. That's fine, little Bobby. Don't you? That's fine. We'll film it as well. We'll send it to your dad. Like, no, fuck off. Go away. Absolute God. Yeah, freaks. I don't know. It's just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And, you know, you could probably work it out exactly how much they've spent since. Well, no, I don't know if you can really. Oh, you probably could. It would take a long time to work out exactly how much they've spent on their shows because it's a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, between The Acolyte and She-Hulk alone, that's $360 million. You know, nearly half a billion. You know, you've got it's so much money. It's so much money that they've spent trying to build up this thing into a platform. And all they've done is cannibalize their own things because most people, even the films which have done well, you know, they could have done better in theaters, the Disney films. So there was a latest one, what was it, like Inside Out 2, wasn't it? You know, that could have done substantially better in theaters, but people know that they can just wait. That's fine. We can just wait. It'll be on Disney Plus. That's fine. Like, who cares? So even the people that are on board with it still aren't actually benefiting Disney long term because, you know, box office is king. Like you streaming will never replace the box office. It physically can't ever. You will never, ever, ever generate the amount of money that you can from theaters. It's just not possible. Anyway, thought this was an interesting side note to sort of dive into. You got anything else to add, Culture? Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, when they were talking about this over on that Park Place, and Pro had written the article, and he and Jonas were talking about it. I wish I was up and awake in order to participate in this one, but this was something that struck me is that with this data that's been leaked, this financial data, this is just the beginning of it. I mean, this is just one of the elements that Disney has been, you know, using Hollywood accounting on, you know, to try to get you to believe one thing, which is not quite true. And, you know, the reason that they are trying to get away from dividing up their direct-to-consumer products is because none of their products are particularly profitable. The only one that's driving things and has actually have a little bit of a slide recently is Hulu. If it weren't for Hulu, they wouldn't be on the path of progress as far as profit goes. That's a lot of P's, but I love alliteration. And if you think about it, the revenue does not justify the expenditures. They should be making money hand over fist. They have a catalog that rivals no one because not only do they have their
for like $70-odd billion and they've done nothing with it. Like, what are you doing?
$71 billion for Fox. Yeah, $71 billion for Fox. You have that entire catalog, not to mention your own. I mean, you've got 100 years of material if you're Disney. Where is it? You know, and the problem is that they don't know what they're doing. They've never taken a firm stand on, okay, we're going back to the vault system. We're still going to do actual releases of media. We're going to lean into physical. But they're very schizophrenic when it comes to their direction, when it comes to how they're going to release their media. And look, the most solid strategy is the one that all the studios abandoned because they were chasing Netflix. Netflix finally became profitable, and all of a sudden everybody wanted a streaming service. Did you not notice how long it took Netflix to get profitable, you maroons? It took them a decade to get profitable in streaming. That's not going to happen overnight, and now the market is flooded with streaming services. And again, you have a content catalog you could profit off of. This is going to go to Netflix. This is going to go to, HBO. This is going to go over here. You could be selling your stuff forever. All you have to do is not change your model, not get away from families, and not have a worthless streaming service. It's like there will never be enough money, and this is a very expensive lesson that all of these companies that will learn, other than maybe the tech companies. But you will never generate the revenue and the support without the regular linear distribution model for sports and live events. Sports and live events are the things they're counting on to drive traffic to these new streaming efforts, and that includes, Amazon and others. But when you are pushing a streaming service, you have to have things to give them, and $180 million for Mama Anasea in The Acolyte is not going to get you there. Sorry.
I mean,
I think it's awful.
71 billion for Fox.
Yep.
I've said it a couple of times, but especially when you hear big, massive numbers like that get thrown about, or you hear about whole countries' sort of budget and things. You hear about billions being thrown around here or there. It's absolutely silly numbers. 71 billion for Fox. Like, no, come on. Like, I always equate it to the James Webb Space Telescope cost 10 billion. Right. Well, the most incredible instrument ever created by human hands that can see back to the dawn of time, to the dawn of the universe. That cost 10 billion. Okay. Well, like Twitter cost 44 billion. What would you rather have? Twitter for 44 or Fox for 71? What a silly deal. What a silly deal.
But Bo, just to add context to that, and you can please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Disney had the opportunity to buy Twitter. Most people don't remember that. Yeah.
I bet the powers that be just made the calculation. Oh, it's already in our hands, like, on their side of the aisle. We already control that. That's already a controlled platform, so we don't need to buy it. Whereas Fox isn't. Perhaps back then they still had Tucker on or whatever it was. It was still being a bit of a thorn in the side of the globalist wokists.
But no, supposedly they bought it. Well, I don't even know why they did. Supposedly they bought it for all the Marvel stuff, but I mean they've not really done anything with it. And then because the news thing is separate from Disney still, so I don't really understand. The whole sale was dumb. But speaking of insane numbers, billions, just quick tangent. Did you hear that we the UK still giving away £11.6 billion to overseas climate aid?
It's absolutely insane. The Channel Tunnel cost something in the order of 15 billion. One of the biggest, most impressive engineering projects, again, humanity's ever completed.
Well, now
we're giving almost that away every year in the order of
11.6 for the climate crisis, mate. 11.6 billion for the climate crisis.
They're deliberately bankrupting us. They're doing Brewster's Millions to us.
You get it. Yeah. Fucking God. Anyway, there we go. We'll move on now.